Coming up on this week's edition of Thunder Insider, we take a look back at the sights and sounds from opening night as Thunder fans welcomed the team back to Chesapeake Arena. The guys will join me on set to break down the play of both Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And we'll tell you why the Thunder won a national award for granting the wish of a special young woman. All this and much more is coming up right now on Thunder Insider. Welcome to another edition of Thunder Insider. I'm Leslie McCaslin, happy to be joined by two of the best, the voice of the Thunder on the radio, Matt Pinto, and our analyst, Grant Long. Guys, the regular season is finally underway. This is what we've been looking forward to, and we saw some encouraging things from this team in week one. A couple of things that stick out: the way Kevin Durant's rebounding the ball, the way Kevin Martin is so easily fitting in. But Grant, what have you seen in particular from Kevin Martin?
Well, it's been a seamless integration for Kevin Martin. I think the way this team has embraced his talents is what sets it apart. I think the fact that they look for him now off the move when he doesn't have the ball, I think that's a big part of their offense now. He gets to the free throw line. We've seen that over the last 2 or 3 ball games, and that's a big part of the Thunder's success, getting to the free throw line. So he's going to aid in that.
The offense seems to come for this team, but the one thing they really focused on this week was defense, and we saw how that can happen, especially in that win over Toronto. What have you seen from their defense?
Leslie, D is the key, and it's the key from the start, especially at home. When this team comes out and isn't fully engaged on the defensive end of the floor, they can struggle. They did on Sunday against Atlanta, but Grant, when they establish that tenacity from the outset with their length, they can totally disrupt an opposing team's offense. The Raptors never had a chance.
I like that. D is the key.
D's
We're going to use that.
I like it, too.
All right, well, for Thunder fans, this past week was like Christmas. One by one, they came into Chesapeake Arena for the first time to see OKC kick off the season. There are a few things more exciting than that first home game of the year, except for when they come away with a win. Here's more from opening night.
This is the game to be at, the first one.
The excitement, just the energy. Everybody's ready to see our guys. I haven't seen them all summer.
Oh, just the game itself. The arena, the excitement. Yeah, just the game. Never been to a pro game, so this is good.
It's excitement. All the hype and all the fans and participation and all that stuff is fun.
Very pumped. Pretty stoked right now. Very pumped. I'm so ready to watch the Thunder play. I'm excited for the atmosphere. I'm ready for it to be crazy inside. I'm excited watching basketball.
We initially came in for the lottery, and so we didn't know we were going to win, and you were gracious enough to give us those tickets, so we were really excited. It's amazing. The Thunder really do create a great environment, especially outside, and then bringing it inside. So my son's really excited and brought that in with him.
I've actually never been to opening night, so this will be real fun. I'm sure the crowd's going to be super, super loud in there and energetic, and I think it'll be a welcoming crowd. I think the energy is going to be high, and looking forward to getting back on track and seeing how everything goes.
Guys, I'm not going to lie, I was excited as these fans because I had never seen a game yet in Chesapeake Arena. What an incredible environment they have there, and the fans did get a win with the win over Portland 106-92 in that game. But there's been some wins, there's been some losses. What have we seen, though, from the resiliency of this team and how they tend to bounce back once again, Matt?
Well, last season 15-3, immediately following a loss already this season 2-0. It's a trademark of this group, and Grant, I think it has a lot to do with how committed and how professional they are. They seem to adjust and adapt from game to game incredibly well because they're so in sync. And it doesn't matter that there are new additions. That's a staple of what they're about and their identity.
I think their culture that they've developed here also can contrive to win ball games. They come out on a nightly basis and give that kind of effort, especially after they lose. They're able to go back and rectify their mistakes, and I think they talk about it and say, this is not the way we play, guys. This is not our brand of basketball, and they're able to, like I said, correct that right away and come out in the second game and get a win.
I mean, we've talked about the new additions. We're going to continue to talk about them because this team is starting to gel, but what have you seen with the ball movement and the way they've been able to move things around?
Nowhere that I've seen it in particular, except the last game that they played against the Toronto Raptors. These guys moved the ball in that first quarter like I'd never seen them do it before. Guys were passing up good shots to get better shots. Russell Westbrook in particular, it starts with him. If he starts to move the ball and get into the lane and find cutters and find those bigs along the baseline, it becomes contagious. Kevin Durant, we talked about him early in the season, really passing the ball well. But it becomes contagious when your point guard starts to move the ball and develop that ball movement.
I'm going to go back, though, to the San Antonio series a season ago in the Western Finals, Leslie, because I think they recognized playing the Spurs. The way the Spurs play, they force you to do that. They force you to option 2, 3, and 4 on the defensive end of the floor. That helped this team adapt to playing teams of that caliber, and I think they've carried that over since.
Absolutely. Well, one thing we haven't touched on yet, and we've talked about effort, but we haven't talked about the effort of Nick Collison. This is a veteran guy who's just not just a leader off the court, but on the court, his effort is admired by everyone, not only his teammates, but also his head coach. Here's more on that.
Nick, Nick is Nick. The hustle play is really just that's typical Nick, vintage Nick Collison, diving after the loose ball.
First, I was about to be mad that I lost a rebound, but then Nick saved it and saved me, so it was great.
Just to see one of your guys sacrificing his body for the better of the team is, it's unbelievable to watch. Nick's been doing it, for 5 years for us, and it's nothing new to us. So, it was a big play in the game. It's kind of like one of those game changers, and we was able to cruise on from there.
Those are the moments and the plays that make coaching. You feel like put you in like a euphoric state of coaching. When Nick dives on the floor, and those are the moments that you live for. Those are the moments that you get excited about. Those are the moments you will show the team in film. Those are winning basketball plays that nobody will ever understand except for the 19,000 people that were at the game that were excited about him diving on the floor. But those are winning basketball plays that we get excited about.
Well, Matt, when you saw Nick Collison really dive for the ball, just go all out on that play, what was your reaction?
Well, we have Loud City up high at Chesapeake Arena. Floorburn Town, the mayor is Nick Collison. And it's one of those things, Grant, that absolutely energizes the crowd and his teammates, as you heard.
He unselfishly gives of himself every single game. And I think he's the guy that he does it naturally. He doesn't have to try to do it. That's just part of his game that he brings every night. I was that kind of player. I was Nick Collison when I played. And one thing that I do know about being that kind of player, he's the first guy that can stand up and point to everybody on the team and say, you need to do more, you need to do more, because everybody respects, because he knows that they know that he does it on a nightly basis.
He's a son of a coach, and you can tell.
Yeah, and when you talk about that effort being contagious, as a former player, when you see someone do that, you want to do that too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it makes everybody involved want to give a little bit more. And like I said, but with Nick Collison, it's just such a natural thing with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, guys, for being with me here today.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
Don't go away, because up next you'll hear from head coach Scott Brooks on why Serge Ibaka is an important part of this team and why he's always in Kevin Durant's pantry.
Hi, I'm Reggie Jackson, and you're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back to Thunder Insider. As we continue to look back at the first week of the season, I'm now joined by our own Brian Davis and our Thunder basketball writer Nick Gallo. You can't talk about the first week of the season without mentioning the play of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, especially this week when he put up 32 points. And Kevin Durant, 17 rebounds, guys. What have you seen from them in particular?
Especially on an elite level team from year to year, the point guard arguably has the toughest job on the ball club. But think about this year, all the new faces, all the blending that Westbrook has got to do. Figuring out players, where they like the ball, how the unit chemistry is going to play out. He has to make those adjustments. He literally is the orchestra leader, and that is from year to think Tony Parker in San Antonio. It's tough to do that well year in and year out, and Russell is proving that he can pull it off.
This is part of his development as a leader, and Kevin's development as a leader too. These guys know it's a long season. There are going to be a lot of ups and downs, but this is a process-based team. They put in the work every day. Guys like Perry Jones are looking up to Kevin and Russ to know exactly how they're supposed to work every single day.
And Brad, you've been around the whole time these two guys have been here. How have you seen them change as leaders and seen their roles develop?
It's interesting. I think that for both of them, they've both calmed down a little bit. Westbrook came into camp saying, I want to be a better teammate, more patient. And I see the same sort of maturity in Durant. Part of that is the way that he has grown into his role and his comfort level being the man on this team. But at the same time, there's more to it than that. There's a psychological element that I think with experience, you just calm down a little bit and everything comes just a little bit easier. And then it's easier to become a leader.
A steadiness of sorts. These guys don't get too high, don't get too low after losses. And that helps the other teammates on the squad know how to act.
Yeah, and Durant is becoming, can we say, a more well-rounded leader. It's not just about scoring with him anymore. I mean, putting up high numbers in rebounds and assists as well.
Kevin has really tried to add something to his game every single year. And this year, he's made a big emphasis on getting more assists, also rebounding the ball better. And one way that he's doing that is with his drive and kick game. He's getting into the lane and dishing to open shooters.
One of the things about Kevin is that he is still trying to find that balance between being the scorer, the passer. The rebounding is going to come easily. I mean, the 3 straight double-doubles to start the season. But KD he's a junkie in terms of the way that he practices his craft. And I think in the end, you're going to find that the turnovers will go down as he sort of gets a little bit more comfortable with that. And you remember, I go back to something Scott Brooks talks about all the time, which is sometimes if a guy turns the ball over, it's not a ball handler problem. It's somebody else needing to be in a different spot so that he can make that pass. And I think eventually that will all gel.
Yeah, after a couple of games this week, Kevin Durant led the league in rebounds, and Coach Brooks even joked, I'm going to tell him to lead the league in assists next year. Well, they're not the only ones, though, who are an important part of this team. Serge Ibaka also plays an integral role, so much so that Kevin Durant doesn't even mind when he's surfing through his pantry. Confused? Well, here's more.
Every day is a day of work with him. He never takes days off, and that is his story. He does not take days off. He comes back at night. He's always putting work in. He is one of the most prideful athletes I've ever been around.
Well, everybody knows what he brings on the court, just a tenacious defender.
Ibaka stands up Horford. He went vertical.
His offensive game is expanding every single year. He's shooting them. Just look at him now. He's shooting threes. You know, sometimes they got to tell him to move in a little bit, but he's shooting threes. And he works so hard. You know, he's one of the hardest workers on the team.
It definitely has not been an easy road to be in the position that he's in. He's worked for everything he has ever received in his basketball life, and you know, his story is amazing. You know, it's not a lot of people can go to another country and pick up things as quickly as he has. He's a extremely hard worker on the floor, but off the court he's easygoing. He gets along with players, and he's always been a great teammate.
Just off the court, he's the funniest guy off the court in the locker room, and he don't know how to speak English, so I think that makes it a little bit more funnier. And but he's just a joy to have. He lives right next door to me. He always bugging me, coming over my house, just walking in my house, eating my food up. So, you know, we've grown to you know, get close. Just all my snacks and Pop-Tarts and chips and all that. But I've grown to, you know, really get close to Serge as a brother, man, and you know, it's somebody I enjoy having around here every single day.
Guys, that means they are close, because I don't think I'd let either of you touch my Pop-Tarts. But let's talk about what Serge does bring to this team on the court.
Well, I think he brings an extra set of hands on both the defensive end and offensive end, and he's coming into his own. We've seen an evolution of his game. He's more comfortable knocking down that open shot, also with the ball in his hands. He's also finding that dunker spot right near the basket for little dump-off dunks.
And, Nick, that is where he is absolutely lethal inside. I mean, his ability, and you pointed it out, I mean, his ability to catch the basketball and finish now, so much better than when he came into the league. And I think that he really enjoys getting down low and playing that power game, down and dirty. I think he's really developed a taste for that, and that's good for the Thunder.
Yeah, and good to see that team chemistry between all these guys. All right, thanks for being with me, guys.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
This is why people support the Thunder. It's because it's a family, it's a family team, and I'm truly, truly, truly blessed.
Thunder fans, don't forget to take part in our Watch and Win contest brought to you by your Oklahoma Chevy team dealers. Visit thunder.nba.com for a chance to win tickets to an upcoming home game. Just enter the code 4587 or text the code to 68278 for your chance to win. Well, welcome back to the studio as Thunder Insider rolls on. Well, it's not very often that a little kid will walk by a star basketball player who's 7'3" just to get their hands on a book. But that's how excited the kids were at Russell Doherty Elementary School when the Rolling Thunder book bus pulled up. Now, don't get me wrong, the kids are always happy to meet the players, but they are just as thrilled to walk away with something to read.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Well, we really want to
give children the love of reading, and this shows that they're learning that. And having somebody like the Thunder come out and reinforce that means everything.
You found a book that you like?
Just the impact that, I guess, the organization's trying to make in the community. It's great to always get out here, but definitely, just try to spread the word of just reading. It was definitely fun taking a picture with the girl who picked the 6,000th book, so she seemed to have fun with it and just be happy, and same with us.
I picked out the 160,000 book in the book bus. And I didn't really expect that, but they just asked me if I like pirates, and I said yes.
What did you get?
Real life monsters.
Nice. That's what you like, huh? All right. No. They come over here, the first thing they run for is the books, and they're so excited for the books, and then they get to see us even brighten up their day. So it's just great to be a part of this program.
It's an awesome experience, but it just shows the commitment of the Thunder and American Fidelity to making sure that kids in Oklahoma City metro area have an opportunity to get a book and to be able to read.
60,000, that is a lot of books. And as you heard, even those young kids knew how great it was to be a part of that milestone. But it doesn't stop there. The Thunder continued their work out in the community this week as they took a trip to Homeland with one lucky family. Because after all, who doesn't love a shopping spree?
You in first grade or second grade? Second grade. I went shopping with family, Dee and her two little boys, William and Robert.
It was a great experience. I mean, ever since I found out I'm nervous, I was nervous. I was nervous when he walked in, nervous walking around, but he's so easy to get along. I mean, he's so easy to talk to that he made it fun. It was very, very fun.
Had a lot of fun. They're really funny kids.
Cookie and cream, cookie and cream, cookie and cream.
This really will impact my family in a positive way.
They're dancing and trying to sneak stuff in the cart the whole time. I think they got away with a couple things Mom didn't see. You like to cook? Yeah.
I have 4 boys, 2 which are in high school, and then those, and they all play sports. So it's a lot of food, but it will be used. Trust and believe me. It'll go quickly.
It's a good experience. It's a lot of fun to be able to help a family out and be a part of it. Homeland and the Thunder do the work. We're just here to come along for the ride.
She got a $500 shopping spree today, and then they also presented her with another $500 to help her out for the holidays.
Yeah, they get a card to come back again. So I think that's a big help, especially around Thanksgiving and the holidays.
Hi. I'm just cheesing because I'm so happy and so blessed, and this is why people support the Thunder. It's because it's a family. It's a family team, and I experienced it firsthand, and I'm truly blessed.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
To be able to listen to her tell me and the staff on what to, she's a little bossy, by the way. He was bossing me around. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the head coach here. You're my assistant.
I don't know who told him I was assistant because I was head coach that day.
Hi, I'm Perry Jones III, and you're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back as we begin to wrap up another week here on the show. Well, if you've ever heard Lorelai Decker's story, it's not one you will easily forget. Lorelai was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and when the Thunder and the Oklahoma Make-A-Wish Foundation heard that her wish was to become a Thunder coach for the day, they made sure it came true. Her positive attitude and love of the game inspired everyone she comes in contact with. But her story doesn't stop there. The day began at the Will Rogers Airport. Lorelai Decker once again took her place as head coach Scott Brooks' sidekick for the day. She and her family boarded a private jet with the Thunder head coach for a special trip out west.
It's not just any other day for me. I mean, I'm in a jet. This is awesome.
After a short 2-hour flight, the group landed in Phoenix. And this wasn't any ordinary trip to the desert. Instead, a limo made sure they were riding in style.
We made it.
We're in our limo.
Lorelai took center stage as the floor correspondent for the Make-A-Wish Celebrity Award Dinner.
I'm reporting live from the 2012 Make-A-Wish Able and Branding Conference.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation presented the Thunder with a national award for granting Lorelai's wish back in April.
I'm following you, Coach.
Scott Brooks told an audience of over 300 guests what an impact she made on the entire organization.
I've been the head coach for this team for 5 years. We've never had one, and we never will ever in the future have a meeting the way we had that meeting. Her spirit, her determination, her courage really captivated my entire staff and myself.
As a Thunder coach for the day, not only was it a dream come true for her, it was a great experience for everyone involved.
And we see people and we meet people and we wonder, why are they in our life? I know why she's in our life, because she is a special young lady. She's a beautiful young lady. She is the superstar amongst all the stars that I'm able to hang out with every day with my team, and I thank her for that. Thank you.
Not only is she a superstar, she made sure Coach Brooks knew his place.
I don't know who told him I was assistant because I was head coach that day. You know, he talks about the impact that I had on them, but the impact that they've had on me continuously has been more than I can put into words, which is surprising because I have a lot of them. And
it's an experience this Thunder fan and her team will never forget, and it came at the right time. Not only did this trip lift her spirits, but it kept her mind off of what's ahead.
Tomorrow I go to the hospital to start my bone marrow transplant. I'll be in the hospital for a month, and coming into this week, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how I get to have a day like today, and it just seems that, you know, days like this are so strategic in my journey against cancer, and so it's been a good night for sure.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to Lorelai as she continues her battle. Lorelai, we are all pulling for you. Well, that'll do it for this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week as we continue to break down the games and keep you updated on the latest stories. And be sure, as always, to check out thunder.nba.com for more on the team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.